Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us. You're welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the show. Promises to be exciting. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, as usual, in the amazing sports world of sports, there's a lot to talk about. This night will not be any different. As we speak, a game currently going on in the Carabao Cup. We'll give you details of that. Of course, there's an interesting angle of the verbal sparring currently going on between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury that will get us talking. But of course, we're going to start from home. And talking about home, there's the little matter of CAF club competitions, talking about the CAF Champions League, CAF Confederation Cup. We're going to be talking about that on the show today. Hopefully, we'll get a stakeholder in Lagos talk to us about how which direction sports might likely go in 2021. That's the outlook of the show tonight. We expect you to sit back, relax as we take you on this ride in your amazing world of sports. Let's bring you into all that we're doing on the show tonight. For those of you who are just joining us, this is what you need to do. You can send us a mail, sportstonight@channelstv.com. Get across to us on Facebook, Channels-Sports. Then on Twitter, that verified handle that we always like to talk about, @channels_sports. That's it right there for you. Speak to us on the show tonight. What do you want us to be talking about? Do you think the sporting world is better prepared to handle doing sports in an era where there's COVID-19, with about 8-9 months of experience? Do you think now the sporting world is well suited to doing sports with the presence of COVID-19? That's what's going to be on our menu tonight as we discuss on a whole lot of issues. All right, so join us for the ride as we go along. It's going to be a swell ride tonight. All right, let me quickly introduce my partner. Is in the studio, the Lagos studio with me, and of course we're going to take this ride, and hopefully we're going to land safely at the end of it all. Kende Idris joins me this lovely Tuesday evening. Kende, it's good to have you here. A lot to talk about on the show tonight.
Yes, it's good to be here. And before we delve into all of this, let me say a Happy New Year to our viewer. This is my first edition or first show this year, 2021. Right. And it's already promising to be a swell year for sports and Nigeria, talking about local and also international sport. And the menu on the table, it seems interesting, especially the Lagos angle. Where is sports going in Lagos? I guess if Lagos is getting it right, a whole lot is getting it right. Yes, it's the heartbeat of the nation.
All right, so that's it. That's the outlook of the show. We're going to go in a lot of directions on the show tonight. All right, so Kenny, let's just go straight into it. When I was doing my introduction, I said, do you think the sporting world is better prepared now to handle the unique challenges that COVID-19 presents? We've had to deal with it for about 8-9 months.
Yeah.
Sports came, tried to adjust. Yeah. But do you think at this point, on a global scale, do you think the sporting world is ready to now continue doing sports with the presence of COVID-19?
I think yes. Maybe better prepared. It looks like yes. Although one of the worrying things for me when it comes to sport, athletes are now contracting, getting COVID-19 more these days than, even at the time, at its peak. Maybe it's about the second wave, maybe it's about carelessness. Reason why second wave is always more dangerous. You get way more relaxed. All of the things you've gone through, you tend to want to ease yourself.
Protocols,
yes,
safety precautions.
You want to be as eased as possible, and then you get beyond, the mark where you now get into being funny carelessly. I guess if that can be managed, I think the sporting world looks like they are better prepared now. We're hearing of, lockdowns. The moment you hear of any prevalence that is beyond 2-3 persons in any vicinity or society or community, then also I saw in news this afternoon where colleges around the U.S., colleges, high school are asking sports boys and girls to wear their nose mask even while doing sports. Yes, maybe it might not be so hygienic when it comes to your respiratory breathing and all of that, but I guess that is better
price.
Yes, a better price to pay
because
than
you have to be alive to
for you to
in
even.
sports.
So the moment you feel maybe the breathing is not so good, you can get to take a time off and all of that.
Just keep your distance from
instead
others,
of looking beyond. So I think those are some of the measures we're hearing about now. Matches are being cancelled or games are being cancelled. Different sports. Maybe you want to come into a particular place, you have quarantine measures or, isolation measures and all of that. And then recently, even the Aussie Open, Australian Open, is getting some threats now where they are planning to quarantine a lot of players. The residents around there are saying they are ready to sue the NOC, talking about the LOC, the local organizing committee
of the tournament,
and also, even the Australian government, if they sanction everything they put on their table, talking about quarantining people around that vicinity, saying they will be exposed to a whole lot. So these are measures, and talks are ongoing every now and then. I'm not even talking of vaccine now. I'm talking of precautions where you don't even have to get to the point of using these vaccines and all of that. Just leave us at the point where so many people do not get, and the little number that has gotten it can be well managed and get out of that phase.
All right, so let's just come to Lagos quickly. You've given me a global perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's come to Lagos. We said it's the heartbeat of the nation. If you get it right with Lagos, you're likely going to get it right with the rest of the country. Yeah. Lagos, most of the time, is always a template. I remember the time when the non-contact sports tried some experiments. Lagos was the first state to roll some things out, and they did it, and it was fine.
And it was good.
So, your opinion. Hopefully, I hope that as we go on the show, we get some other perspective, some other people that we're expecting to join us. But I want to quickly get your own thoughts, Kende. As you think Lagos, let's use Lagos as a sample for all the other states in Nigeria. With what you've seen, you've been to some centers. You've been to some
sports
places,
arenas,
sports centers, arenas. Do you think the efforts by the Sports Commission or the state government to allow us, even in all of this, still have sports, do you think all of those efforts will be enough and will still ensure safety?
All of those efforts are well enough. The only worry I've got now are the individuals involved. The measures, the lay down rules for you to follow. Every center has to have this. Every arena has to have this and all of that. And for every individual that are involved, this and this have to be met. Talking about testing, you come into the arena with your nose mask. Try as much as possible to reduce the number of people that you have clustered around every sporting place. So all of these measures are very fantastic. You need to see the breakdown, and you also should know that Lagos State is one of those states. I don't know so much about so many, but Lagos State follows every PTF precautions.
Yeah.
If the PTF breaks any precaution now, Lagos State, the LSSC, Lagos State Sports Commission, gets to put it out there. Every association, these are the measures you need to follow. Only thing I'm worried about are the individuals involved. Are you following it to the letters?
All right. Okay, so because keeping safe will help others is a responsibility.
Health is way more important.
Let's just broaden this discussion. Let's widen it. Let's now quickly allow the Lagos State's chairman of Lagos State Sports Commission join us as we have this conversation. I'm talking of Shola Ayepeku. He joins us now. Good evening, sir. It's good to have you join us on the show. I appreciate you taking out time from your busy schedule to be with us on the show. So thank you for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. And first of all, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
We all look forward to 2021 being a much better year than 2020, but more importantly, with alive.
All right, all right. So that's good. All right. I want to ask the question that a lot of people have been trying to respond to. Do you think the sporting world now is better prepared to handle the unique challenges that COVID-19 presents now that we have lived with it for almost a year? 2020 was disrupted, but now in 2021, do you think the sporting world is now ready to handle all the unique challenges it presents, especially knowing that we're going to have the biggest sporting event this year, which is the Olympics?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, we're a bit used to it because when the virus first in March last year, nobody knew what to expect. Now that we seem to live with it, people to be more comfortable in their skins. And I say, so we know to a very large extent to what the fallouts can be, what the end results are. I mean, I'm sure many of us, I have lost people that are close to me and all, so we know what the end result is. But I say no because also it seems now that we know what the fallouts are, what the results can be, we seem to be a bit negligent. You go out, you see people on the streets or in public places not wearing their masks, and people still arguing about how potent, whether or not the COVID-19 is potent. But there are people are dying all around us, and yet people aren't taking it seriously. So that, for me, that's where the main concern is. We know what the effects of the lockdown was economically and to society at large, and governments all over the world, including the Lagos State government, is hoping and expecting that citizens are responsible for the care to themselves by observing the COVID-19 protocols. But we see that largely, it seems that's not the case, and that's where the real concern is, not just for sports, but for society at large.
All right, let's narrow it down to Lagos. And you occupy a position that, I mean, you are in the best position to answer the question. Let's talk about Lagos. Do you think Lagos is well-suited, better prepared to handle the unique challenges? Because some will say life must go on. We're still going to have sports one way or the other. So when we do have sports, do you think that Lagos is better prepared now to handle the unique challenges that the situation presents?
Okay, excuse me, I'll answer it this way. I remember last year when the COVID-19 broke, Lagos State was the first to announce a shutdown of sports in the state. And also, when COVID-19, when the curve started getting a bit normal, Lagos State was also the first to organize sports events through non-contact sports. So Lagos State, through the commission, we prepare. We trained our officials. We had sessions with the athletes, and that was important and core to preparing to host or organize any events. Now, we are all hoping as the year ended that the year will start, January will start preparations towards the National Sports Festival and other events that we had lined up. But here we are talking about a second COVID-19 strain, and the fact that it's spreading quite rapidly, be taking lives more rather quicker than the previous strain. So it doesn't behoove the commission to dictate what happens. The commission abides by what the Lagos State Health Commission indicates, and by the laws of the NCDC. So we are really subject to that. But whilst we are subject to that, we are also ensuring protocols are also getting back to strictly observed levels.
All right. Within those restraints that you try to explain, how do you intend to carry out some of the plans? Because I know you have plans, plans for grassroots, plans for secondary schools, plans to discover talents. I know you have all of these plans. So within these restraints that the situation, has laid upon us all, how do you intend to carry out some of your programs, rather?
Okay, I mean, first of all, we all have, just like in life itself, we all have major plans. But it'll be very foolish for you not to have a plan B because of the COVID situation. So we have our plans, but we have also plans B and C that are in place. and we've presented those plans to people who will help us go through it. Like I said, the Health Commission and all, so they can see what we intend to do. And also, we have to apply a lot of common sense as well. If, for example, the situation behoves Mr. Governor to shut down gathering and all that, we know automatically what that means for sports. It's a physical thing. So we are ready with our major plan. We are ready with our plan, with our alternative plans, and either situation that arises, we are ready to go by the plan that's appropriate for each situation.
All right, let's go out talent discovery. You had a virtual interactive section today where you briefed the media on some of your plans, what you intend to do. And I know one of the things you are very keen on, one of the things that is dear to your heart, even listening to you, is talent discovery and how to nurture those talents to start on. So how do you intend to go about all of these as well? You know, hopefully this year would not be disrupted like last year was, but you never can tell what can happen. Only the Almighty God knows. So how do you intend to go about discovering talents and nurturing them, even in this situation we find ourselves?
Okay. When Mr. Governor invited me and gave me the assignment of leading the commission, he asked me what my plans were. And what I stated was that, not in exact words, was that we need to lay the foundations for a sports industry. And if we can lay those foundations in Lagos State, then I'm sure if we can begin those foundations in Lagos State, then I'm sure sports in the future will stand on very good stead. But you and I know that laying foundations is not very easy. To construct a skyscraper, you are going to build almost the same height of foundations into the ground before you start coming up, so that you can take the full weight. And that's what we are trying to do. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, COVID-19 didn't help matters, but things are still going on. And like I stated during the media parley, we will release information on the things of the last year that are quite significant to laying this same foundation. So we are confident that development of sports, starting from grassroots, community, and school sports levels, are fundamental to laying these foundations. For example, if you check the history of the talented Lagosians youth who have gone through the cycles and have become elite athletes or sportsmen, it's not by any real structured approach. We know that there are talents out there. We all know that. We get to see them from time to time. But what we want to put in place is a structured approach whereby we can see that if you pass through certain routes, then you will get to certain level if you are successful with with programs. We want to ensure that at every level, there are enough programs or platforms for talents to express themselves, to be discovered, and to be nurtured. And above all, or just as importantly, advocacy. The general psyche of the average Nigerian or Lagosian is that it's only those who participate in the sports, as you can see on the tracks or the field, are the major contributors. No, they are not. In fact, when you go through analysis, they contribute less than 3% to the total value chain of the sports industry. So we want to be able to advocate, and we plan to do so this year, to advocate that, look, your child doesn't have to have the physical attributes to represent on the pitch or the tracks. But if the child has passion for sports, for example, and the child has acumen for medicine, it doesn't have to be a superstar on the pitch, but he can go into sports medicine. Advocacy will be done for that. There are different. There's so many aspects in sports industry that at times when you look back at our situation here in Nigeria, you wonder why we are still at the level we are at, because there's no real industry here that generates the kind of returns on investment that we need for our sports industry to grow and to be strong and sustainable on its own. So those are kind of things we're going to do. We'll create platforms where people can perform. We will also advocate and also create career paths where children can begin to see that there's a future. and that if they do certain things at certain stages, then they will get the results at the end of the day that hopefully will take them to elite level.
All right, I want to keep you on because we want to go on a break. This conversation has not ended. There's still a lot we'd like to know from you. So we need to go on a break right about now. But when we return from that break, we'll continue from where we left it off. So let's just quickly go on that break, come back for more Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. We still have with us the chairman of Lagos State Sports Commission, Mr. Shola Ayepeku, who is still with us. All right, let's just continue from where we left it off. A lot of people who got some tidbits of information from the interactive session today had things like the Principals Cup is going to be revived. Some school sports competition will also be rejigged. I also think it's good to hear from the horses, Matt, because that is heartwarming, really. But it's also good to hear you explain some of those things.
Well, like I said earlier during the media party, I won't go into too much details because there are levels of approval that the highest level of approval that we need to in detail, and which have to be held back because of the current COVID situation. But we are confident that this will go through. So far, the area is all safe to play. In summary, when I think about 2021 plans, our focus is on long-term impact and social economic value creating programs, starting with school sports intervention, youth and community engagement through sports. Something that the governor is very passionate about is about community games, as well as other statutory events like the National Sports Festival, the marathon, our classics, association events, etc. And it's important that we still maintain Lagos as an international sports destination. But going back to the roots, you see, I made that point of Principal's Cup to remind us that this hasn't happened about 2 to 3 years, and in fact that was about the only consistent major sporting event for secondary schools in Lagos, and that was only one sport. But what I would say is this, confidently, is that our plans don't focus only on football. We have expanded the scope of competitions for secondary schools or for schools in Lagos State into at least 10 sports. And so that means that we have broadened the catchment area, the talent catchment area by 10. So rather than just one that we used to have. So as soon as the terrain is clear, it's declared health-free, and we can start gathering again, as some things will happen. For example, we want to, along with the Ministry of Education, whom we have been having meetings with since last year, with the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, we all agree that sports has to come back into the educational system, so that marriage, which has proven quite beneficial in the past, will be even improved as we go along. So those things are very important. And once those fundamentals are gradually worked on, for example, that will mean that we need to train games masters, train new coaches. There will be new curricula injected that will reflect more of modern sports development. That also means that sports development as a whole will, once you have created 10 sports, for example, what's the next level? After these children leave secondary school, what happens to them? There's another level of development that they will meet outside school, and which is where competitions are created at a district, at divisional, and community levels before you get to state level, which prepares them for the next stages and gradually like that. So it's important that we focus on the immediately available and structured part, which is the educational sector, so that we can bring out these talents and also show them that there is more to just participation or involvement on the pitch or different avenues of play, but they can also do that and express themselves in sports if they're passionate about other things professionally.
All right, I guess that's a good place to leave it tonight. Hopefully we'll get to have this kind of conversation some other time. But first, I want to thank you for taking out time to be with us tonight. And I wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
And we'll need your help too, because as we are creating content, we need content to be taken out there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, all right. So that's it. We've been speaking with the chairman of the Lagos Sports Commission, Shola Ayepeku, and he's been giving us his thoughts on a whole lot of important issues regarding Lagos State and, of course, how to deal with the issues, unique challenges in this COVID-19 era. All right, we need to move on, but let's quickly invite our man Austin Okon-Akpan to pitch in. He's listening to. Okay, I guess we get Austin in later on as we move on. Okay, let me try again. I think he's ready now. Austin, good evening. It's nice to have you join us tonight. There's a lot to talk about. We're pressed for time, but welcome once again. You listened to the chairman of the Lagos State Sports Commission. He had a lot of interesting things to say. But in a minute, let me have your takeaway from all you heard him say.
Such a great things, Yemi. It's good to be on the show once again. I was good listening to Shola Ayepeku. He's somebody that I know a lot, and he's vision-oriented, results-oriented. He's focused. He's got a passion. I remember he's very close to the late Deji Tinubu, God bless his soul. And so they've been working together for a lot of time, for a number of years. And I believe everything that he has talked about, particularly the aspect of being practical and at the same time being sensible. He talked about us not giving in to COVID-19, thinking about ways that we can make things happen. And I think that's very important. He talked about the foundation of sports in Lagos, how to, get everyone involved and then sustain that momentum. And of course, he talked about the one I love so much, taking sports to the grassroots, developing sports at the school level. Lagos, as you mentioned, is a model for a lot of things, particularly sports in Nigeria. So that's a state that a lot of the guys, particularly the guys at the Southwest, can look at them and see what they're doing and emulate. So well done to Shola Ayepeku and his team. We love what they're doing, and we'll continue to support them. Particularly, don't forget that we also, get a lot of support for them in organizing the Channels International Kids Cup.
All right, thank you, Austin. All right, let's. There's a lot to talk about on the show, but let's start with the ladies and quickly get that out of the way and address the elephant in the room, something brewing in the CAF Confederation Cup. And a lot of people are already saying we hope it doesn't blow in our face. But let me leave that for now. Let's talk about the ladies first. Let's take a look at Match Day 4 fixtures now and allow you guys talk about it. Match Day 4 fixtures for the ladies. KD, let me run through this. I'm going to get your thoughts. That's why Amazons will take on Delta Queens, Bayelsa Queens up against Confluence Queens, Sunshine Queens up against Edo Queens, Rivers Angels. We take on Abia Angels for size. Royal Queens will square off against Osun Babes. Dream Stars ladies will, of course, face off against Ibom Angels. FC Robo Queens will play Pelican Stars. All right. Take a stab at it. Look at what you have on your screen and what you think is going to happen.
Exactly. I'm looking at it on my screen and also in front of me. And I've been, since I've seen this fixture, I think in the afternoon, I've been trying to mark out, those key games that I would like to see. The ones to watch. And trust me, almost every game is key. Mm-hmm. Nasarawa against Delta Queens, I want to see that game. And I want to see how it pans out. Nasarawa are doing something nice. And I want to see how they build up from there. Sunshine against Edo Queens. Sunshine didn't really have it good the last time, but they are one of those teams you feel in the ladies' cadre, they do so well. Also, Rivers Angels against Abia Warriors. Rivers Angels should have this stuff. Abia Angels, sorry.
You're thinking about their brothers.
Yeah, they should have this stuff because Abia Angels are also one of those teams that can look, up to any team and cut their bluff. And Rivers Angels, we know how massive.
There's nothing to say.
There's nothing to say about them. Look at the next game. Dream Stars against Ibom Angels. Dream Stars looking to start their season. The season has not started
for them.
They want to start the season, but if you want to start your season, Ibom Angels for Dream Star might not likely be the place they want to start. As much as they're at home, I still fear for them. And the queen, or one of the biggest queens, or one of the biggest female team that we have, FC Robo, also having their player to be the player of the month for, the month of December, where the league started, going up against Pelican Stars. maybe not so much news from the Pelican Stars, but when you want to play a team like FC Robo, you sure want to bring up your A game. So Pelican Stars bringing up their A game to Lagos against FC Robo, but FC Robo want to see that beauty continue to be displayed on screen. So look how many games I've lined out. So I still say to people, if you've not had your time watching the NWFL right about this time, maybe match day 4 is the day you should start.
Yeah.
And if you don't get glued, then you should, call my bluffs.
And, I don't like we have a lot of armchair critics who don't see these games.
They don't see the games.
And the next thing is, what are you guys saying?
What is?
But
or
you need
some
to
just see maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, and just chill
and
off.
they'll just be like, no, this.
You need to see
You
these
need
games
to see these
make
games.
up your mind.
I'm not telling you to see all 7. I'm telling you to see 2 in every match day.
Yeah.
Just
if
try
you're
and
in
see
and
2.
around the sentence.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, let's get Austin's thoughts. I don't know if he agrees with us that there are a lot of armchair critics who just don't even see these games and say a lot of things. But, I mean, ladies giving us reason to talk, and 7 interesting fixtures lined up for tomorrow.
It's good show of women's football in Nigeria. And yes, I agree with you. It's not just even with women's football. We get it with the men's league. People come out and say, oh, they don't have away wins in the Nigeria Professional Football League. Oh, it's only the offside that gets to win. And they don't follow the league. We're saying now that, look, you have an opportunity to, get into it. You can't speak about what you don't follow, what you don't know anything about. So, we can only do our best here. I mean, I keep pushing it out there. Let persons know that the Nigeria Women's League is actually competitive. We see these beautiful ladies play beautiful football. I'm looking forward to Rivers Angels and Abia Angels. Abia Angels, about 2 seasons ago, started showing us that they can do 1 or 2 things, make a statement in the league. Rivers Angels, they've been dominant. Won their last game. I think the other time they gave a spanking to Delta Queens. So let's see if they can be pushed by Abia Angels. Royal Queens is a new team on the block. They're all going to take in on Ocean Babes. I also want to see, just to see what the new guys are bringing, including Dream Stars. Women's football in Nigeria is actually really, really competitive. And when you have Bayelsa Queens taking on Confluence Queens, that's one should actually get you talking. Confluence Queens also, about 2 years ago, they started making a statement that they want to, be respected in women's league football. I think they got into the Super 4 one time. And then for Bayelsa Queens, always there, dominant and then doing all the good things that they can for themselves. So it's really a good time for us, match day 4 in the Nigeria Women's Football League. So let's see after the games, more talking points here, me.
All right, so let's quickly go on to the continent now. But first, I don't want to start with the hot potato. I want to start with the one that's a bit easy. Let's start with the story that involves Ayimba. A lot of people are not speaking about this game because in their minds they've written off their Aba Elephants. But I still say miracles do happen because that's what the Aba Elephants, that's what they need. And so there you have it. Match details for tomorrow for the second leg. Nigeria's representative talking about the Aba Elephants, 2-time African champions, up against Sudan's Al Merrek, January 6, 2021. That's tomorrow. Game's going to be played at Ayimba International Stadium. Time 3:30 p.m. The only part of this match detail that I don't want to look at is the lower part that reminds me that the first leg ended 3-0 in favor of Al Merrek. Kenny, let me get your thoughts. I'm going to go to Austin in a bit, but let me get your thoughts. Is this redeemable? I think I've asked you before.
It looks harder than it looks hard to say this is redeemable. The scoreline.
It's hard to say with a straight face that this is redeemable.
The scoreline did not say Ayimba lost 3-0. Ayimba were properly scored. It was a sad day. It was a day that you watch the game and you're asking,
what's happening here?
Is this Ayimba, or they took a second tier of the Ayimba setup to go and play American Sudan? It's a lot of questions that cannot be answered. But there is always one thing in two-legged football. If you can do that to a club in your home, then expect that you can also
receive that kind of treatment
in their home. And if Ayimba, go by that, by that line, if I can get to receive such there, then I can make them receive this right here in Aba. And if they can do that, for games like this, first 10 minutes, there must be a goal from Eyimba. If you don't
a miracle is going to happen.
If you don't get a goal in the first 10 minutes, it is hard to say something would happen. And if you get a goal in the first 10 minutes, then you can consolidate or make yourself way more comfortable by getting another before the halftime. Then when we get to the second half, it becomes struggle. Who gets the first goal? Who now take
blinks first?
So, El Merreikh, number one, are you working hard enough to make sure this team doesn't get a goal? Because if you score 4 and they get 1, then you're 4 counts for nothing.
You're still out.
Are you working so hard? So you're bothered about getting so much goal and also looking at them not getting a goal.
Balance.
It's hard for me to say Eyimba will get through this, but it's a big team. Sometimes when we talk about philosophy, some person will be quick to ask you, the team, the guys that won the back-to-back CAF Champions League, do you still have any of them yet? No. But these things live with this team. It goes from generation to generation. You understand when you walk through the cabinet office or the museum of the club, you see these things, you hear them, and you just want to replicate what those teams have done. So maybe this is the time for a lot of players to give more than we even think is their best, and maybe put Nigerian football in another light in the African terrain. But Yemi, this is way harder. Al Merreikh, like last year with Al Hilal, it was so hard. Al Merreikh is a step ahead of Al Hilal. And I was, having this thought that we might see this. And when the first leg ended that way, it was almost no surprise. The only surprise was that the scoreline was too much.
Okay, let me get to Austin. Maybe I'll get some cheering news from Austin. I've asked you before. We've talked about it many times. But tomorrow is the D-Day. Is it still redeemable? Is it still redeemable?
The only cheering news you'll get from me is the one on Eyimba's Twitter handle. It says, belief comes first. And I think that's what they need, the spirit of optimism. They need to start believing even before the game. It's going to be very, very difficult because Al Merreikh is coming into that game with a lot of advantage. I'm sure they'll watch at that first leg again and be smiling at the way everything, crumbled for Eyimba, the way they got their goals. Cheeky, silly defending. About 12 of those goals coming from long plays, which, during my days playing football, even in secondary school, your coach will tell you you're not going home if you concede those sort of goals. So I think they went to sleep. And I told you when they lost that match that when I saw the lineup that coach Fatah Osho brought, I had some reservations. But hey, what do we know? We're just analysts, and these coaches know their job. They know their players. So I hope he's going to get it right with the team tomorrow against Al Merreikh. Al Merreikh will come into that game with a lot of negativity. They will do all they can to secure every aspect of that match. They've even started by even giving false arrival dates, because they said they were going to come on the 2nd with a chartered plane, and then they didn't come on the 2nd, and then suddenly they appeared again with a chartered plane, gave NFF different, arrival dates with center protocols, and they didn't show up. They're already telling you that they're trying to frustrate you. So I'll just let Coach Fatah do his job. It's going to be very tough, but hey, this is football. Anything can happen.
All right, let's leave.
Another thing I want to ask him. Well, maybe the North Africans, this 3:30, timing and all, the weather is still on the high.
You know what? What is done is done. What is done is done. So let's just leave it at that. All right, let's go on and talk about something that a lot of people, including myself, including me, I'm hoping it doesn't blow up in our face. Let's talk about Rivers United. And of course, it's no longer news that the NFF has requested that the game between Rivers United and Bloemfontein Celtics be postponed. And the news is that the Confederation of African Football have announced that first round game involving Rivers United and Bloemfontein Celtic will not hold tomorrow, and will not will not hold tomorrow. So that's the information. We'll give you more details about that as we go on. But we need to quickly go on a break right about now. And when we return from that break, we'll talk about all the issues surrounding Rivers United, Bloemfontein Celtics, and also spare thought for Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, who both have been engaging in some sort of verbal sparring. So we'll go on that break. Come back for more Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. I was trying to read to you the new information that we have. CAF, Confederation of African Football, they've confirmed that that game will not be played tomorrow on the request of the Nigerian Football Federation. And of course, you know, the reason is simple. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control refused to step down on some of the COVID-19 protocols for the South African contingent. So the Africa's football governing body says the case will be referred to its disciplinary body for appropriate course of action. And of course, Rivers United won the first leg 2-0 in South Africa. And this is a game a lot of people feel that Rivers United can win and go on to the next round of the competition. Let me quickly get Austin's thoughts on all the drama surrounding all of it, the NFF angle, the CAF angle, and the likely fallout of this situation.
So, Yemi, straight up, it's disappointing. Same old story we talk about, that we always wait till when we want to play football to win. Meanwhile, you start winning off the pitch. So with the investigations I've been having, I've come to realize that communication will always be our problem. So SAFA claimed that they wrote to the Nigeria Football Federation on the 28th requesting for a waiver and clearance to come into Nigeria. We all know the COVID-19 situation. Good thing Rivers United won very well in Bloemfontein. So what I would expect from a proactive Nigerian side is to start working for that waiver even before SAFA sends a letter. We know that we've put in place stringent measures. We know that we need to get people coming to the country, and there's COVID-19. So we would have even started communicating with the presidential task force on COVID-19, because they've said what they've said. They are being careful. They don't want people to come into this country. So fast forward now that it has come to what it is, and then the PTF didn't give that waiver for Bloemfontein Celtic to come in. Now, my sources, very reliable sources, tell me that SAFA, they are writing a petition to CAF to say that 3 points and 3 goals should be awarded to Bloemfontein Celtic. Do they have a point? Yes, they do have a point. But let's see. First, the good thing is the Confederation of African Football, they've accepted the NFF request. The game will not be played tomorrow. But now we've put ourselves in a very tight situation. And it would have been avoided, because right from when we won in South Africa, we would have started doing our work towards the next match. The date was already fixed. We know COVID-19 is a problem, but we allowed it to stay till this point. So let's see whether CAF will come out and say, okay, play at a neutral venue. I think we're requesting to play it in either Benin Republic or Ghana, most likely in Lomé or Togo. So I don't know, Yemi. It's a tight one, but I'm saying that it reminds us again that we are in a situation where we have to be proactive, where we need to start doing things differently, where we need to take matters into our own hands, particularly when it's going to hurt us. Because as it is now, SAFA can come out with all of the antics and tactics to come against Nigeria. And I'm saying it would have just been avoidable.
Yeah, avoidable situation. Yeah. All right, Austin, stand by. Let me just quickly we don't have much time.
I totally agree.
There's nothing to add.
I think proactiveness is one of our major issues around here. We need to be ahead of every situation, so that people don't use those chances. You can remember the qualifiers to the Nations Cup. We would almost, if not that we have qualified and we don't need that final game, we would almost have, relinquished
because of some carelessness on our part.
Simple little carelessness. And that is Austin, and that is what it should be. You shouldn't leave things to reactiveness.
Don't leave gaps.
We should always be ahead of things. And if this does not go in our way,
It's going to be a shame. It's going to be a shame.
Because Rivers look like the only shining light
It's
left.
going to be a shame if at the end of the day, CAF accepts and grants Bloemfontein Celtic whatever they want, and it's going to be a shame. But hopefully there'll be an amicable resolution and they get to play.
It goes
that's the operative word in Nigeria. All right, let's quickly take a look at the Carabao Cup. That's the EFL Cup. Let's see what's happening in that one. Of course, a lot of people are already thinking about tomorrow. Manchester Derby is what it's going to be. But let's talk about today. Today, that's what is in front of us. Jose Mourinho told us how important this game is to him. He says, look, I'm 2 matches away from winning a title. That's all that matters to him. And they're leading. I think they're about in the second half, right about now. And I mean, it's against Brentford. You expect them to close it out.
Yeah, you expect them. Yes, Brentford can also be, a banana peel for any team.
A lot of Premier League teams
have gone under the anointing of Brentford. And then you should know, a Jose Mourinho team or Jose Mourinho himself measures his performance by trophies. He doesn't care whatever kind of football he plays, as long as his trophies come in. And for Tottenham, they want a trophy right very bad.
Okay. All right. So let me just quickly go to Austin. Austin, I'm not going to allow you to talk about the Carabao Cup because we're pressed for time. We might be told to leave here any moment. But I want you to quickly talk about the, war of words currently going on between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. On the other hand, one says, I'm going to make him feel my powerful fist. The other one says, you have a crisis of confidence. I'm going to knock you out in round 2. Then AJ telling us today that, look, don't worry, Alexander Usyk will pay him some money. He's going to step aside, not forgetting that he's the mandatory challenger, WBO. And there's Deontay Wilder on one side as well, saying, Fury has to fight me again.
Yeah, I mean, interesting times for heavyweight boxing. Remember, each time I talk to you about heavyweight boxing, I remind us that there is a fantastic boxer in Alexander Usyk that can upset any of those big 3. That is what I know. I've seen him fight, and he's fierce, and he doesn't respect anyone, and he can attack. So, whoever is going against Alexander Usyk, we'll have a lot to do in terms of pushing him away. But Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, look, this is what the British boxing community wants. We want those guys to get revved up. We want them to hype, to talk, to go at each other. And we know Tyson Fury is always ready for the trash talk. So Anthony Joshua is a calm guy. After his last fight against Pulev, when he was asked who he wants next, he said, we fight for the fans. Let the fans say who they want me to fight. And everyone said they want to see him go against Tyson Fury. The money will be good for Eddie Hearn. It will be good for British boxing to arguably produce the biggest payday we've seen in boxing. So these 2 guys know that all of these talks, and of course, we've got a vibrant British media to put it out there. So we want all of these talks to be out there till they tell us when these guys are going to fight. But unfortunately, no one is talking about Deontay Wilder. And Wilder is saying, look, I've still got unfinished business with Tyson Fury. So these are very good times for heavyweight boxing. But Fury has got to be careful. Anthony Joshua is a whole new refined fighter now. So don't think it's the Anthony Joshua you saw against Andy Ruiz.
Okay.
From his loss to Andy Ruiz, he has changed in terms of strategy, tactics, and he's a whole lot better as a fighter now.
Austin, I would have loved you to continue, but we're pressed for time. We got to go. I want to say a big thank you to you. Hopefully we get to do this again some other time. All right.
Thank you so much, Yemi. Always a delight to be on the show.
All right, that's our man, Austin Okon Akpan. I can't Idris, you can't say anything as well because we got to go, but I want to say thank you as well.
It's
always a delight. We'll take the conversation out of the studio.
Of course, we always do. We always do.
And, and the conversation never ends. You can always join us on our Twitter handle. Let's talk about all of these things happening in your amazing world of sports. I want to say a big thank you to you as well. We'll be back here again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.